it's over. Now I'm going to start recording. Oh gosh. And I don't know, that quote just really resonates with me because I think a lot of the mentors and coaches that I have in life, they are doing such a good job of modeling that consistency and frequency. And it's almost like it's a reminder to me that it's not rocket science to produce amazing results. It's that compound effect. It's continuing to work until you perfect your craft and become a master of it, right?
Can you give me that quote again?
Yeah. So I don't know the exact quote, but it's that people learn to associate frequency and consistency with trust. So the correlation between frequency equals trust. Consistency equals trust. And here's where the best part is. We know that in order to make a sale, people have to know you, like you, and ultimately trust you, okay? That is, if you've ever worked in sales before, or if you ever will work in sales, your boss will tell you that. They need to know you, like you, and trust you. Trust is the most difficult of that three-part formula to foster, right? But frequency and consistency lead to trust. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and just share the presentation. Okay, can you see it?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm just going to share a quick high-level overview of how we can all practice the principles of the visionary method, but I'm just going to drill it down into 5 different ways, okay? And I want you to leave this coaching program just feeling like you always have something to come back to on those days that maybe feel more challenging. So 5 ways to practice the principles of the visionary method every single day. You may have seen me post this around my social media. It always resonates with me, but I just want to first start off by saying that I'm incredibly proud of all that you both have accomplished, and anyone who's watching this after. Building anything, turning your knowledge into an income, turning your knowledge into a product or a service. It takes time, it takes a lot of energy, and it takes a lot of belief, which in turn, you're going to encounter a lot of fear that comes up. And so no matter how far you got through the modules, be proud of yourself and celebrate yourself so that you're encouraged to keep moving forward, right? There's no good that can be done by kicking yourself for saying, oh, I should have got to module 5 or I should have done this work better. No, celebrate where you did get to because you want to lift yourself up to the point where you're like, all right, like I feel good that I accomplished X, Y, and Z, which means now I'm feeling inspired once again to get out there, chase another module, celebrate myself, and then repeat, okay? But alongside that, there's gonna be a lot of resistance that comes up. You're gonna start to need to show up in a bigger light, right? As you begin to put your offer out to the world, launch your website, invite people to your workshop, there's gonna be people who don't necessarily agree with your product or service. There's going to be people who feel like, well, who are you to do that? And they come at you with some unnecessary comments, maybe some negative feedback. Maybe they say there's so many people doing exactly what you're doing, or maybe they don't say it, but they kind of insinuate it. For me, I just heard a lot of people saying, you shouldn't leave your full-time job. You have such great benefits. Your salary, you're not going to be able to match that if you go out on your own. And so as I began to rise, I started to also encounter a lot more wind. And this quote kind of says it best: the tallest tree in the forest catches the most wind, or in this case, I say the most wind.
You really mean it.
I really mean this. Everywhere I've kind of gone on my business journey and my personal development journey, and I'm still on it. Like I am right in there in the trenches with you. But the more I learn and the more I speak up and I try to share my vision and I try to build community, through my beliefs around what a visionary life is, I continue to encounter more wind. So as you rise, I just want to say it is normal for the breeze to come through. And if you are not feeling resilient to that, work on your belief, work on building up resilience, because otherwise it's going to be a really tough journey. And the insults are tough to take, but just know that every level of you're going to get more and more. And ultimately, I truly believe that the more people that tell you, hey, that's not for me, or that's a weird workshop topic, or I'm not going to enroll in your program because I think that someone's doing it better, then you just get concrete proof that that person is not part of my target market. There's something about them that I don't speak to that person. And that's okay, right? Maybe it's that they're really cheap and they don't ever invest in themselves. So you know that automatically you've got some data of people that you're not marketing your offer to, which will help you actually in turn become better. So flip that script. When you get that wind, try to change it into, okay, what is my learning from this? All right, so before we get into the 5 principles, I just want to bring it back to something I know you have both heard a lot, but it's starting with why. So really building belief in why you're doing what you're doing. Why do you want to host a workshop? Why do you want to launch a website? Why do you want to do a group coaching program? And as you feed your mind with that why over and over and over, it will eventually put you into action. And that action will eventually put you in this spiral of momentum, okay? But it really does come back to knowing why you're creating this. Because again, on those windy days, if that why isn't clear, it is really easy to quit. And believe me, I've wanted to quit 9,000 times on my own business, but I remember that I really, really believe that I am here to inspire the world to live and lead their own most visionary life, and to share with people like what that is and why we need to tune into our inner voice and stop listening to these normal trajectories and the noise of the world that tells us to follow a certain path, even when it feels so wrong for us. So always coming back to your why. You could call that your mission statement. For you, it might be more your vision statement. And I know you both wrote that down in module 1. So maybe frame it, put it on your desk, put it as the background of your phone. I have mine as the background of my desktop computer. I find it really helpful just to have that visualization every time I open my laptop. Once you get the why, then it's really starting to distill down the how and the what am I doing. So how am I going to accomplish this? And what do I offer in order to accomplish the how and the why? Okay, but why comes first. Then how might be through an online business, through a workshop, and the what is your more specific offer. Maybe it's the 12-day online challenge that you run. Okay, so the 5 principles of the visionary method, they're probably not going to be new. They're not revolutionary to you, but they are things that are proven. They are time-honored. They are 5 principles that I believe that if we could remind ourselves of more often, we would be able to really step into our power and be the business owner, the visionary human that we are here to be, with less limiting beliefs and less fear to encounter us on a daily basis. So number 1 is going to be to think bigger. And I call these profit shifts because I believe that if you practice these principles, your business will grow, okay? It will flourish. But these are also just shifts in general that we can make in our lives. So thinking bigger. For me, a lot changed from this moment. What you're looking at is me just after graduating from the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition 7 years ago. and having a discussion with all my classmates on the final day of school. We were out for food downtown Toronto, and we all had this insane vision that we thought was big to rent office space and sit inside a clinic and see clients one-on-one. And that was kind of the common vision and the common conversation that was happening. And as I started to do that upon graduating, I realized, well, this is great and I like this, but I don't see a plan for impacting a lot of people through this, okay? And so what I started to do was expand my mindset into how can I think bigger? How can I think outside of these four walls? And honestly, at the time, I had no idea. I thought that the model of what I had learned was you sit inside a room, you talk to someone about their nutrition, and that's pretty much where it ends. And that is a great service to offer. But as I started to dig in, do a little bit more work on my mindset, I started to explore what were successful nutritionists doing that was a little bit different from what I thought was my end goal. I started to surround myself with different people who were starting to build online businesses. I was asking them questions, and I was still kind of at the bottom of the staircase thinking, okay, like I think I know my end game. But as soon as I started being more curious about what was possible, I was able to think bigger. And I used to be very introverted, very shy, and I hated asking people questions because I thought it made me look stupid. And one thing I challenged myself with a few years ago was to be the most inquisitive person ever. And it has really helped me to think bigger because I've asked questions that have gotten me incredible answers of what the human potential is. And it's opened my eyes to what I can do. So, I mean, as a nutritionist, it started to make me think about group online coaching programs. Obviously now that's more in the realm of business, but I didn't even know that was possible 7 years ago. But through a lot of question and answer and just really cultivating a community of people who I saw were one step ahead of me, really allowed me to kind of look up that staircase and continue to stay inspired. Just a few of the things that I do to get curious and to keep people in my community who build my belief. Obviously, I listen to a lot of podcasts, so if they're not physical friends, they're in my ears. And I really do know that helps me to expand my mindset of what's possible. In terms of some other things that you can do to build your belief of what your potential is, small micro wins, right? So just launching that website and getting some feedback or sharing a vulnerable post on social media. Brene Brown says that vulnerability breeds connection. So maybe that's a little win for you. Or maybe putting your event live and selling a ticket. So what are some small micro wins you could do today to build your belief that will help you to think bigger because you see what's possible? Sounds obvious, but just smiling, connecting with more people, being positive, because that ignites a lot of conversation that might lead you to expanding your mindset. And really reframing your challenges and setbacks to actually flip the script and just know that you are limitless, but sometimes we are our own worst enemy in the sense that we block our own potential. So just a few things to think about in order to expand your mindset and think bigger. So number 2, principle to practice every day is to shine bright and step out of your comfort zone. Okay, a little bit scary, but is something that is proven to be a great way to really show up as a leader and as someone people are curious to learn more about. So on the left here, you see Oprah Winfrey. She is someone who, first of all, has taken her struggles and turned them into incredible storytelling and incredible gifts and platforms that she's now able to impact billions of people. She's someone who really stood in her light as one of the first Black women to grace a talk show And she needed to step outside her comfort zone and literally ask for someone to put her on air and give her a chance. That always reminds me to never be afraid to pitch yourself, right? That is stepping outside of your comfort zone. That is saying, I am good at something. We all are. But in order for anyone to hear it, sometimes you have to take that step to be able to give your pitch, deliver it, and get someone to take a chance on you. The guy on the right is the founder of a billion-dollar cloud computing software called Salesforce. A lot of large companies use it. And he literally went to a Tony Robbins conference. Tony Robbins, one of the original gurus of self-development. This guy went to a Tony Robbins conference, like right when Tony was starting out. And he showed up to the first one. He sat in the first row. He came to the next Tony Robbins conference. It was like chasing him around America. And finally, he said to Tony Robbins, like, look, I have this incredible idea. I'm going to make $1 million off of this sales platform. And Tony helped him to build up that belief. And he said, try it. Like, I know it's never been done before, but go for it. So he created this micro version of what Salesforce is now. He is now a multi-billionaire, but not because he got lucky, but because he stepped outside of his comfort zone. And he has great stories. You can read them more online. And then he also put out this offer into the world that maybe had never been done, that met a lot of resistance, but look how it took off for him. So just always being surrounded by these stories of people who they're just like us. We all are born with the same potential inside of us, but it's really how we act on it that ultimately dictates the results that we get. Number 3 is to continue to invest in yourself, right? And I mean this both monetarily and just investing time and energy and spending the effort in order to nurture the vision that you have and to not neglect it and brush it aside when things get busy. I love this quote that just says, I absolutely believe that people, unless coached, never reach their maximum capabilities. And I think that's because we don't know what we're really capable of until someone kind of says, hey, I've been there, or I can take you there. Here's the path. Look where you're going to end up. And then we go, oh, okay, well, now that you've told me I can do that. So seek people in your life who can pave that path for you, whether you pay them, whether you do an exchange with them, even if it's just a friend that you get together for coffee with once a month and ask each other some challenging questions. Maybe you keep a shared Excel document that has your 30-day goals on it and you just revise it once a month. That's coaching, right? That's someone who's looking out for you, who's seeing something that maybe you don't. And I think it's so important that if you're feeling stuck, it's challenging when you're alone, but if you can find a group of people or a person that can coach you through that challenge in your life, you will come out better on the other side. And again, whether it's financial, that you have to pay them, or just someone that you ask for advice, it's invaluable. So continue to seek that out. Number 4, even in the early stages, I really want you to treat your business like it's a business, like it's $1 billion business, $1 million business, $1,000 business. Doesn't matter. You can insert whatever number you want there. But let's be real. If you treat it like a part-time business, you're going to make some sort of hobby income from it. If you treat it, right, you don't have to spend full-time hours, but treat it like a full-time job. Treat it like a full-time business that supports you. And show up when you say you're going to show up. Launch that event when you say you're going to launch it. For me, that meant when I didn't want to relaunch the Visionary Method back in 2018 because I was really stressed with a few other freelance projects that I had going on. And I looked at the date and I was like, November 12th, that's not going to work. But I really, really had to shift my mindset into thinking, no, I set out these dates for a reason. And if I let myself off the hook this one time, I'll probably never relaunch the program. And so I treated it like it was a non-negotiable deadline. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to follow through just so I can build my own confidence in the fact that I stay true to my word. And that is really part of treating your business like a business. When you're feeling like maybe you don't treat your business very seriously, find some structure in your days or your weeks or your months, okay? Even if you only have one day a month to pour into creating your offer, then you know, like on the first Tuesday of every month, I have 2 hours devoted to building this business. Or every Monday morning at 7 a.m., I have 30 minutes and it's like that power hour. And that's when I get my business done. And really work around your objectives. If you're exhausted by the end of the night, stop working in the evening and do it in the morning instead. So just structuring, I feel like, is a skill that we're always constantly refining. What are the systems? What are the tools that we need to stay on track? But finding that structure will like massively change your the outcomes that you produce because you actually put some accountability on yourself. And just asking yourself some questions. These are things I like to reflect on every so often. What did I produce last week? Sometimes it's like, okay, I didn't really do too much, but other times I have a list and I can confidently say, look, I followed through on the 3 task items in my Asana. Did you do what you said you would do? What income generating activities did you spend the most time on last month? Just reflecting on things like that. And again, questions are the answer. So ask yourself questions, just as I'm encouraging you to ask people who are a step ahead of you questions. And number 5, try to scale up in the early days and produce things one time in order to reuse them many times, okay? I think it's easy in the early days to kind of keep reinventing the wheel. Maybe with every webinar that you teach, you're like reformatting your slides. You're being too specific by adding a lot of dates to all your freebies. And then you end up needing to spend your precious energy and time recreating things. So I want you to think about only spending time on tasks that expand you or that impact multiple people at a time, right? So try and create content that's shareable more than just once. Maybe you write a blog post and then you turn it into a Facebook Live video and then you make a free PDF download of it. So just thinking like, how can I save my energy so that I'm not constantly on the hamster wheel trying to redo, reinvent. And I know this is kind of like maybe a 2.0 principle, something to think about in a year's time, but it is something that I wish I did in the early days so I didn't have to constantly reinvent the wheel and that I wasn't creating 500 downloadable PDFs rather than just one really, really good one that I could share in a lot of different ways. Just a quote from Albert Einstein. You may have seen this one before, but the definition of insanity is repeating the same behaviors and expecting different outcomes. So what are you repeating that's not working? How can you change it? How can you take data from maybe the failures that you are having time and time again? So maybe you're not showing up for your 7 a.m. alarm clock to work on the visionary method. Okay, well, what can you change in order to make that behavior something that you follow through on? So maybe it is putting your phone across the room, going to bed earlier, and having a more strict to-do list before you can walk the dog or whatever the case is, right? So overcoming things that are not working by changing what's actually happening. So those are the 5 tools: thinking bigger, shining brighter, and stepping outside your comfort zone, investing in yourself always, treating your business like a business and implementing those systems, and scaling up and just flicking that mindset of what I create, I will reuse time and time again. And then just a little success square diagram for you. Maybe it's something you copy down, but I'll start with the fact that when you build your belief, so bottom right corner here, you may have seen this before, but it really resonates with me. When you work on building your belief and you are filling your mind with tons of good content, you are doing things that make you feel success and make you feel more confident, that will naturally lead you to better results because you are certain that the action that you take will result in something. When you get results, you see what your potential is, okay? Any sort of result will make you think, oh, okay, well, I guess I can do that. I am capable of figuring out Instagram, or I am capable of talking for an hour in a workshop. When you see your potential, it encourages you to take more action, right? Because we have this limitless potential. When we take that action, it really does help to foster even more certainty and belief. So this is kind of a success square. It goes around and around and around. It never ends because we never really reach our full potential. And so sometimes one of these quadrants can be messing us up. Oftentimes it's our belief in ourselves, which means we never get results. Because if you don't believe that you can accomplish this business of yours, you are not going to get results, right? Because no matter how much action you pair with that negative belief, it's not going to give you a positive result. You need to flip that mindset, that certainty that you can do it. So where in this quadrant are you getting tripped up? Maybe you reassess this on a monthly basis or every quarter of the year to see what's missing in my life right now. What could I do more of? What needs to change? What's going well? And I think because a lot of people get tripped up on the mindset, if you can flip your mindset, you will get new results, always, right? And that's why I like to start all my days with at least some form of mindset work, audio content, whatever I can do to like funnel other people's energy into my brain before my brain says, this is not going to work, or don't even bother today, or you're not feeling it today. So new mindset, new results. Just a little reminder here that people don't necessarily buy your product or your program. They buy a prediction, okay? So long as you can paint a picture of what they're going to get out of purchasing from you or working from you or opting into your offer, that's all they want, right? They don't need the tangibles, the bells, the whistles. They want to have that prediction that you have an answer that they do not yet have, okay? You could also say that they don't buy information, they buy transformation. So always keep that in mind when you are sharing your offer with the world. And like I mentioned at the beginning, don't forget to celebrate your milestones. This is hugely important. I think it's so under talked about that if we don't celebrate how far we've come, you're just going to get in this negative spiral of potentially only reflecting on what you didn't do. This program is always here for you. So you don't have a timeline on when you need to finish it. You might decide to redo it, but it just takes a little bit of discipline in order to make sure that you finish it off. And then I just wanted to remind you too that when you signed up with the program, you did get a podcast segment. So I would love to record either a full episode if you're comfortable with that. We can do it via Skype or we can do it face-to-face if you want to come to Toronto. But I would love to share your journey, explore a little bit about what you might want to share with my audience. Maybe it's just how you put together your first event. Maybe it's like the challenges and roadblocks that come alongside entrepreneurship. If that's something that you're interested in, that was included in your package, and I would love to feature you. So that's something that you can reach out to me directly, and we can have a conversation about that. So that is it. I think that is kind of a great place to segue into any questions you might have, any thoughts, conversations you still feel like you'd like to bring up while we have time together, or anything else that's on your mind, really.
I loved all those reminders. That was awesome.
Oh, I need them for myself too. So it's mutually beneficial.
Um, I'm still having difficulty with how to market. I think this has been a block for me probably for 3 years. I don't know if it's me just not wanting to put myself out there and thinking that whatever I say or do has to be perfect, and how do I say it the right way, or what it is. Like,
Mm-hmm. Are you, I'd say the first thing that comes to mind for me is, are you clear what you want to be talking about? Are you speaking specifically to the event that you're creating, or just in general? Do you feel like you don't know how?
in general, like I haven't done a whole lot of marketing for my doTERRA business either. Like I just stuck one to one because I think I was afraid to put myself out there because I didn't, I mean, I had a lot of belief in myself. I thought I did anyways. I mean, not once have I ever wanted to quit. I mean, I know exactly that this is it. Whether it takes me 5-10 years, this is it. And I know I'm going to build off of that. That's going to be my base, and I'm going to build off of that in many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
It's just maybe my confidence level isn't there yet. I don't know. I mean, I just did a post just before we got on here because I thought, okay, I just need to do it. I don't know if you happen to see it, but
I haven't. Can you enlighten us on what the post was?
Sure. It was just a post on my news feed, which is very scary for me.
Yeah.
Asking people who would be interested if I stated that I was going into, I can't remember how I worded it, but I am going to be hosting retreats, and I will be hosting women's circles. Just looking for input on who would be interested in this kind of thing in the Waterloo region.
Awesome. That's amazing.
And I said, this is a commitment. This is just looking for input and interested people. So please comment below or personal message me so that I can have some idea of what people want.
Absolutely. And I would say, like, don't be afraid to put that out a few more times, because people often won't respond to the first one that you put up. Because again, the frequency and consistency hasn't been there yet. So right now they're like, wait, what? She's doing women's retreats? They're kind of like marinating in that idea. And then as they start to see you from different touch points, maybe next time you grab coffee with them, you share it, you post it on Facebook again, you put up the Eventbrite, it's going to start to warm them up to the point where they do start to trust that this is real in you. So back to kind of being afraid or not sure how to market yourself, or just having that block there. I would ask you, do you feel like you have changed a lot and maybe are afraid to show like the new side of you? Is that at all something that blocks you?
I'm kind of going back and forth. Have I changed? Like, I mean, I know I have. I know I have, but maybe I'm just not really feeling, and I don't think I feel like I've changed enough.
Okay.
Maybe because I haven't shown it. Because I think I need people to see the little bits of transformation, and I didn't show that.
Right. And
which I regret now.
Definitely, but it's never too late to begin showing that, because you are going to continue to evolve for many, many years to come, hopefully. They say that one of the hardest parts of having a personal brand is that you kind of have to evolve in public, which is terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, like we want to be, we want to be someone who people are not surprised by. And like, we know that the people on our Facebook, a lot of them have known us in a different realm of our life. And so it can be really terrifying to show up and share this new vision on your heart, because deep down we wonder, like, what will people think of me? Will they judge me? Will they catch that I have evolved a lot? And how will that either trigger them or like, I find myself holding back a lot of my core beliefs and a lot of my ideas because I'm terrified of evolving in public and people saying like, whoa, like she's not who she was 5 years ago, or that's different. Like never heard her talk about that. And that does stop me a lot from effectively marketing my business. So that could be one block that you come up against. One thing that might help you is bringing it back to what is the smallest viable thing I can talk about right now. So for you, it should be your women's retreat, right? You walked me through the agenda. You told me the plan that you had for it, where it was going to be, what it was going to be. So just focus on sharing little bits of this event that is going to happen and show people that I'm passionate about it. I have worked hard on it. And you're going to start to familiarize them with the fact that you have this passion on your heart. From there, they're going to be desensitized to the fact that, oh, hey, she's clearly stepped into entrepreneurship a little bit. I think she's passionate about women and helping them and like leading these retreats. I think she's getting more comfortable on social media because it looks like she just sold 5 tickets. And hopefully that will give you a little bit of extra confidence too, that people have seen you do something really small that you feel good about. And from sharing just about that retreat for a month or 2, it will naturally help you to crack open into other areas of your life. But just to feel like, oh, I need to be sharing my brand, my business without that purpose is maybe too big and overwhelming. Reel it back. Mm-hmm. Just talk about the retreat. Just post about the retreat. You're going to get people very familiar with the fact that you've got plans, right? And there's more coming at them.
Right. Perfect.
Yeah. So I don't know if that answers your question at all.
Sure does. Yeah, it does. And I think another part of it is I need to find someone that I can actually physically sit down with. I work better one-on-one with people. And so, like, I don't know how to devise. And maybe it's in the workbooks, but I haven't gone through them all yet. But just actually getting some marketing material. Like, I need to make something that looks nice so that I can put it out there. And like what the wording should be. And like, I still haven't gotten past this self-care nature retreat. Like,
yes.
Like, I haven't devised any words or anything like that to go with it. And
I don't remember. Go ahead.
And I don't think I have like all of the knowledge behind this. Like I said, I don't have qualifications for any of this. It's just a passion, right? So when I announced I'm going to be, which I just did today, women's retreats, like people may have already gone on them, right? And I'm feeling like what I put out there when they actually come may be way less than what they've expected, right? Because they've already been on these great ones somewhere else.
Well, I really do think that the people who show up at your retreat are going to be the people who probably have never shown up at one of these events before. Like, you are going to be the first person to make them believe that this will be something that is going to be impactful. Number 2, you are not the expert. You're not like the retreat expert, first of all, because you haven't hosted them before. Second of all, because like there's no course that certifies you to be a retreat expert. What you are is a curator of content, a curator of experiences. That's all you're doing. You are the person that's just the organizer. Don't think of yourself as like the master who's going to like cast a spell over everyone. That's not why they're showing up.
But I want to.
You want to, maybe one day, but I think your place right now is to take all your knowledge, curate it into an event, and maybe you bring on like a guest speaker to support that vision. Maybe you do it all yourself right away. But businesses don't mean that you have to be the actual expert. You can be the curator. You can be the ringleader that just organizes people. You can be the one who actually studied like retreat psychology and sure, deliver that, but that's boring. Like, I just keep coming back to curator. That's what we want from you. Until you feel like you're the expert who's going to like, point the wands everywhere and be like, yes, I am the master of this. I have 4,000 testimonials. Until then, curate the experience and be confident that that is your role at this point, is to take all the things you know to be true about self-care and bring them into one consolidated event that will impact someone's life, right? Just by having access to all of those pillars under a 5-hour event.
Yeah, two things from that. Like,
yeah,
so totally true. Like, I'm going to be attracting people that are at the same or just before, like a year ago me, because
definitely.
I haven't been out there advertising retreats. So I'm not going to attract those people that have already been at retreats before. Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to attract people who are going, oh, I've never seen her do that before. And then
yes.
yeah, I totally get that now.
Yeah, it's always that way. It's the people one step behind us, 2 steps behind us who are like, oh, cool. Like, I resonate with her. I don't resonate with Beyonce because she's like 900 steps ahead of me, right?
I forget what my other thing was now.
That's okay. We can come back to it.
Yeah, I forget now. That's okay.
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 Cool. Kayleen, do you have any thoughts, challenges?
I feel like I just like kind of threw together a couple of questions. I don't know where to start, but I guess so. Like working on my website, like I feel like we've talked about this, but like 2 plans as far as like launching a website and then showing up on social media. I think the 2 things that I need to do right now. So I feel like how to start. Like I feel like my social media has always just been personal. So where do I even, like, what is the first step there? And like, what does that look like? And as far as workbooks go, like, which one should I do now? And
definitely. I know that is such a tricky one too. Again, the hardest part about having a personal brand is evolving in public, which through social, sometimes it's like, do I create an entirely separate Instagram account so that I don't have to like evolve who like my friends and family know who I am? Or do I just like pull the trigger and start becoming more of like someone who shares what's going on and builds community around what I'm passionate about and understands that oftentimes your first customers are going to be your friends and family. So we don't want to disregard them and the fact that they already have that trust factor with you. So, I mean, I think a website launch is such an exciting time to be able to tie it into your social media strategy. There is a workbook, module 4. It's quite lengthy, so give yourself a couple hours to go through it, just in terms of how to pull together a social media strategy. And with that, I would say some of the easiest things to do are simply to just grab a piece of paper, draw 4 quadrants on it, and write out the 4 things that someone should be learning about you in order for them to make an educated purchase from what your offer will be, right? So for you, if you're offering like healthy lifestyle coaching when your website launches, or maybe that comes down the line, what are the 4 things that somebody should be educated on, that you should be giving them like free value in these 4 quadrants in order for them to say, gosh, like she's got some really good tips. I've learned a good amount from Kayleen. And then she launches this like more robust package and they've already felt like they've won, right? They've gotten so much free info. So maybe for you, it's showing food and recipes. Maybe it's talking more about your daily fitness routine, if that's something that you're going to coach on. Maybe mindset is a big one. So you're posting quotes because you want people who believe what you believe or who like what you believe, right? Because if they see that you have a certain mentality, they're going to think, okay, she's either the person that I want to spend my money with, or wait, we have absolutely nothing in common. Like, I'm not going to spend my money with her. Mm-hmm. So I would just say in terms of launching on social, just drawing those 4 quadrants and writing out in each of the 4 quadrants, like what is something I should be covering every 4 posts, every 4 squares, and what types of content within that can I actually build out. So for food, maybe it's sharing a recipe once a week. Maybe it's snapping a photo of your meal prep at work. Maybe it's sharing your daily water intake. With movement, maybe it's sharing your favorite workout, fitness quotes, how you like to get 10,000 steps on a daily basis, and like literally just taking a photo of your phone with your step count. So just breaking those 4 quadrants out. I think the best thing that we can do as business owners is bring people along your journey, right? What knowledge do you have that you should be sharing if you want to sell something? If you don't want to sell anything, you don't need so much strategy, right? But if you want to sell a lifestyle program, a health and wellness program, then people need to know what's inside of it by what you're showcasing. So that puts us in a very vulnerable spot too, because maybe your friends and family aren't used to seeing you share your daily eats, and maybe some of them will not care. But if you want to take a pivot and just say, hey, like I am working on my website right now. I have a goal to be posting 3 times a week to start sharing what the content of my blog will eventually look like, right? And being very transparent with people. So saying every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to share a health and wellness tip. You don't like that, then no worries, but just say like my business coaching program has held me accountable to the next month. Like make something up, right? That I am going to do this. And at least you're allowing people to say, hey, that's for me, or hey, that's not for me. And it kind of makes you feel a little more secure in the fact that you've announced it, and then you've made a public commitment, which I think is very powerful too.
For sure. Yeah, no, totally. Thank you for that. My other question was about like thoughts on a freebie. Like, and I was just like flipping through some of the modules, and that was one that I just like ended up stopping on. And so if I'm going to like launch my blog, show up on social media, and then in my head, I'm thinking 3 months launching a program. So could change, but anyways, could be sooner. But do you think that I should have a freebie from like the beginning?
I really like the idea of having a freebie for when you launch your website.
Yeah.
Because if people take the time to go to your website when you first announce that you've launched it, which is going to be when most people are like, oh, what? She launched a website? I'm going to be really creepy and go check it out. And so at that time, you're going to get a surge in people coming to see what you've done. That's when you want to have either that top bar that you can implement on Squarespace, or that pop-up. Nothing intrusive. Like, again, you're going to have created something that's of value for the people who are interested in your content. But I like to have the freebie done for when you launch, because it's an opportunity to convert those people onto your mailing list, right? So that they've come to your website, they've given you that first little hint that they're interested in what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to rely on them like opening their browser on a monthly basis and coming over to your site. What you want is to capture their email and then be able to blast out, hey, I wrote a new blog. Hey, I need a survey completed for the program I'm about to launch. Hey, I just decided to do a promotion, or I'm speaking at this event. So the conversions there, like that's a really important time. So create a freebie that is something that you could literally write with your eyes closed, right? It has to be so easy for you to like write this down. 3 green smoothie recipes that I make every day, or like how to plan your week of workouts in 10 minutes. or my secrets to staying positive on a daily basis. Something that obviously aligns with like your 4 quadrants.
Mm-hmm.
And something that's going to give people a quick win. So if they read the freebie, how will they have success? Okay, there needs to be a quick win and a natural segue into like why that qualifies them to be a potential customer, right? Because if they're interested in smoothie recipes, they probably want nutrition advice. If they're interested in like 5 self-care methods for Christine, they probably would like a retreat that teaches them in person. So yeah, I like having a freebie, even if you don't formalize it by having it as a pop-up. You can just like say in your emails, just, hey, I did create this little PDF file. If anyone wants it, send me an email and I will send it to you. Because at least then they're getting something from you that they go, oh, cool, she has a business. Oh, look, her website's at the bottom. Oh, great, she also is launching a coaching program in July. So it's just like extra touch points that give someone something of value that you don't have to like be traditionally marketing. You're just sharing something that you know to be true.
Okay, amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. So, and again, don't spend too much time creating it. It should be something that you're already like really good at and could talk about very easily.
Okay. So where do you think that going to that social media workbook in module 4 is like a good next step?
How's your website coming along?
I'm talking to someone tomorrow about potentially doing it for me.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah, that's a great idea too. Because
I feel like I would rather be like writing content and doing
yes,
things like that than
definitely.
Yeah.
There are always certain things that, yeah, you'll get a gut hit that like, if I leave this with myself, I may never do it. I hired someone to do my first website too, because I was like, I don't get it. And I just wanted it done.
Yeah, that's how I feel right now. And it's the same way I feel about a logo too. It's like, I feel like I just want to pay someone to do it at this point.
Yeah, 100%. 2 really good investments too, that nowadays you can find people to do it for affordable prices. From here, I would say social media these days is a micro website. So if you're comfortable, start treating your Instagram like a micro blog or a micro website. Because, yeah, I mean, people are going on Instagram more than they are websites. So perhaps we should be spending time delivering content. What we deem as blog content, how can you translate that into Facebook content or Pinterest content or Instagram content? So definitely don't wait till you have the website up to begin sharing. I think getting your freebie together is such a wonderful idea, something that you can offer up. Maybe you put it in your email signature, you share it in your Instagram bio, you post it to Facebook. If you haven't already made a Facebook page, I think that's a great way to get some community going.
Okay.
And joining maybe some like online Facebook groups where there are like-minded people that you can start connecting with, begin building relationships with, so that you find people who are maybe along the same path and you logically can kind of feed off each other. So in module 6, there is an element of hosting a challenge. I think doing a challenge for you would be incredible, like just doing a 5-day or a 3-day challenge to your community, even if only 10 people sign up for it. But it's just you practicing your coaching skills and saying, all right, like day 1, we're all going to focus on this healthy habit. Okay, now day 2 is here. We're going to focus on this healthy habit. And you're going to get people familiar with who you are, what you do. They're going to receive some quick wins from you. And when you have your program, like you're already going to have an audience built up. So try that.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, and challenges are fun, right? They're meant to like build community around something you love.
Yeah, I like it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Alrighty. Well, that is it for our time together. Please reach out to me and email me. Obviously, we will stay connected via the online realm. So easy these days, which is the best. If either of you ever passing through Toronto, please reach out. We'll grab coffee.
Amazing. Thanks.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Seriously, that would be great. So, and if there's anything else, just shoot me a message, and I'm more than happy to continue helping.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kelsey, for running. It's been amazing.
Oh, good. Well, thanks for coming to the final call, and I'm glad that we got to do this. So, definitely keep in touch and don't be strangers. And yeah, again, I'm here to support you every step of the way. I have confidence in both your incredible ideas. You've come so far since February, so just imagine what else can happen in the next few months, okay?
Absolutely. The belief is there.
Yes. And summer is not a time to slow down. It is a time when other people start to think about slowing down. So it gives you a chance to ramp up so that people are looking for things, coaching programs, whatnot, because everyone else has taken the summer off. So I think it's a beautiful energy and a great time to launch. Yeah, that's my belief anyways. Alrighty. Well, have a good night. And yeah, I'll talk to you both soon.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Kelsey. Bye.
Yeah.